All right, everybody. 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins here. Meteorologist Natalie Ferrari is in here as well, too. Good Friday afternoon to you. Getting the latest update on the tropics because we have a 70% chance of Invest99L there in the Bay of Campeche of becoming a tropical system. So Recon's actually on their way out there right now. That 70% chance came out from the Hurricane Center earlier this afternoon. You can see it actually looks pretty good. I mean, look at this picture of it here. It looks really good on satellite. I'm getting some initial data coming in from the Recon flight that's out there, and it does not look terribly organized at this particular time, and I'll go over that here in just a little minute. But there's a look at it now. You can see, look at all that convection. It's out over very warm water, right? There's quite a bit of convection, kind of even maintaining. Although the last couple of frames, it's starting to fall apart a little bit here near the core, and then you see you've got more stronger storms forming up here. Unfortunately, it looks like the low-level center is actually over here somewhere. So we don't have and we're still trying to figure that out. But if that's the case, it's not up under what we call this CDO, or the central dense overcast, right? That's kind of one of the technical criteria you need for at least a depression. You need to have the surface circulation. I cannot talk. The central dense overcast, which is the core of the thunderstorms, right? And you need those stacked on top of each other. And right now, it's not looking like that is the case. Here's the Recon, just took off out of Keesler Air Force Base in Mississippi. And you can see they're in there now. They've seen winds of about 35 miles, 36 miles per hour, pressure of 1,011 millibars. None of that's super impressive at this particular time. But let me show you something else here. Let me take you over here. I'm going to show you some data coming in. Obviously, that's what we're able to show you. Oh, look, there you go. You got a lower pressure of 1,009. Now, that makes sense. That just popped up because that's in the area where we think the center should be. Look at this. This is another look at that data. And you can see, look at all these wind arrows. All right, they're all out of the east-southeast. There's a little bit of a south wind here, but nothing out of the northwest, west, anything like that, all the way through. So you can see southeast, south, southeast, southeast, southeast. Look what's happening down here. Now you're starting to see the wind coming out of the east, a little east-northeast. You've got a little northeast here. So what we would expect is that the center is sitting somewhere down where you see that binoculars, perhaps maybe a little bit further to the south, because you would want winds wrapping all the way around for your surface low-pressure center. Okay, but if that's the case, look where that is versus where all these thunderstorms are. So this is a sheared environment that this thing is in right now. And I'll be honest with you, it looks like it's going to continue to be in a sheared environment as we get going into the next couple of days. So, and it's really only got between tomorrow and tomorrow night to move on shore up into Texas. So let's shift over to that. Let's talk about that now. You can see where it is now. Now, one thing about it is there's some really, really warm water there. And the warmer the water, the more energy there is for this thing to try and strengthen. So the center is likely somewhere in here. Look at that warm water is over. All right, we just don't have a lot of convection firing over it. But it's going something like this, and you see it's got this spat of warm water here as well. So you need 80 degrees or better, and we've certainly got that in the Gulf. But you got even warmer water when you get up in here, and it's heading up towards northern Mexico, southern Texas right there. All right, so let's talk about the forecast models. Here they are. You can see most of them taking it into Mexico technically, but remember, you know, the north end of this has got a lot of moisture being pulled in, and that's going to end up in South Texas. This area in Texas really needs the rain. This area in South Texas just got the rain from that system that went in last weekend. So, yeah, you know, this is not necessarily a bad thing, especially if it doesn't get a lot of wind, right? They could use some of the rain. The models just aren't doing a whole lot on it. I mean, this is a look at our model that we run here. Let me give you a better view of that. And you can see, yeah, there's something there, right? You can see, let me back it up here a little bit. See that rotation? This model's seen it. By tomorrow morning, we got a pretty good center right there. And if that happens, we would at least have a depression, if not Tropical Storm Danielle. That's the next one on the list. So we'll see. It doesn't look too impressive and very organized. And then look what happens during the day tomorrow and tomorrow night. I mean, the model just loses it. It's trying to keep some circulation in here. But what's happening, there's going to be a ton of shear coming in from the north and east on this thing. So we'll have to just wait and see how this goes, because it doesn't the European model, the GFS model, they're just not doing much with it. Our graph model, it does actually try and bring a little bit more moisture by the time we get towards Sunday morning. This is 8 o'clock, and you can see the rain here. But there's just no organized system. I mean, if you went to a week ago where you saw the system just kind of barreling across South Texas, that looked like a tropical storm, right? Looked like a depression at least. This one, on the modeling at least, doesn't really look like it. And then you can see it really falls apart Sunday afternoon. Now, this is the European model. It too, you can see it's got a low right here. Got a lot of moisture on the northeast side of it, which would actually indicate shear going to the northeast, southwesterly shear. But then watch as we go into Saturday evening, and yeah, it's throwing some moisture onshore, but really, again, trying to close off a low here, but just not a whole lot. You know, not that classic look that you would expect. And the GFS is very similar to this. So, you know, we're out there now. They've got a 5 o'clock update time. You may find out in about 40 minutes or so, maybe 30, 35 minutes or so from the Hurricane Center, what they think about that system now, just looking at the Recon. It looks really impressive on the satellite, that's for sure. But that's going to fade off, I think, into the afternoon hours. Tropical systems tend to flare up at night, so I do expect some of this to fall apart and then flare back up overnight tonight, past midnight, into the morning hours tomorrow. And we'll see if that center ends up being down here on the south. So I'll go ahead. I'll leave you with that. Let's go ahead and take a look at that one last look there of the Recon, and you can see, you know, there's something in here, lower left side here. But all of this, where that main convection is, all looking at south winds, southeast winds. So we don't have circulation going on through there. All right, guys, that's it. Well, you know what? I should actually get you. Let's just take you to the 7-day forecast. Get you out the door with the local forecast. This is what we're looking at for the upcoming weekend. It's a change in the pattern for the Tampa area. The winds will turn more out of the east. So the rain we've been seeing the last 4 or 5 days has all been in the morning. We've had water spouts almost every day, funnel clouds at least, because things are slowly blowing in from off the water. That's going to flip-flop, and the winds are going to go from the land back towards the Gulf. And what that means is that tomorrow it's a good 40% chance for showers and storms, but it's 2 or 3 o'clock, you know, 1 or 2 storms popping up in the Tampa area, St. Pete area, Sarasota. But the better chance is for storms to start that time in East Polk County. And then by 6, 7, 8 o'clock, they're rolling through Tampa and into Pinellas County and western Manatee and western Pasco. So it's back to what a lot of you would consider more typical afternoon showers and storms for Florida, right? This has been a little bit backwards. We actually tend to flip-flop quite a bit, especially over the last few years we've been doing that. So it's not quite normal for us, but southeast winds are a little bit more normal for us. The only thing about that is we do get hotter. The wind's coming in across the land. The land heats up a lot quicker than water, so that hot air gets blown in our direction by the afternoons. We've been in the low 90s, even upper 80s when we've had extra clouds. I'm thinking mid-90s, not only through the weekend, but all of next week, because we pretty much keep that easterly wind through Friday of next week. All right, guys, that's it. I'll be looking for your questions in the chat here. If not, have a great weekend. If this does get named, it gets a track, it gets a cone, it gets all that good stuff. Don't worry about it in the Florida area. In fact, it's just, you saw that eastern Mexico and southern Texas area that really has to worry about this one. Get your plans ready to go. Next week is going to start to get active in the tropics, out in the Atlantic, east of us, and that will be stuff that we'll have to watch. So we'll be, of course, updating you here